welcome to the last session of RSA Conference. What an incredible year it's been. I hope you've had a great time at the conference. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you got to see virtually some old friends during the event. It has been an unbelievable year. You know, I couldn't have imagined when we picked this theme of resilience a long time ago, pre-COVID, for this year's conference, what it would end up actually meaning. So many of us have spent a lot of time on these meeting video platforms. And at first, when you start doing a lot of these video conferences, it feels just really impersonal. You just wish you could be there across a table or at a Starbucks with the person instead of in a little square. But what I've found is, as time goes on, you actually learn more about those folks. You see, for example, a dog walk into the shot and everybody relaxes. Or a child comes in and, delivers a bottle of water. And, it just brings humanity. And you learn more, and in some ways you become closer. But sometimes things don't go that well during these calls. So I always use one specific room to do video calls from. And I had a call, it was coming up in 3 minutes. I go into this room, and we've got 5 young kids, and I find our smallest child, who's 2 years old, just chewing on some rubber dinosaur in that room. And he's like so content, he's happy. I'm like, geez, I can't disturb the guy. And so I'm going now into, uncharted territory looking for another room to do a video call. So I get to my son's room, one of my older sons, and I peek in the door, and the guy has got a volcano, probably, this high off the ground, made out of, looks like cardboard or something, maybe boxes from Amazon. And he's got a giant bottle of vinegar, and he's got a huge box of baking soda, which is just a recipe for disaster. But again, conference call's about to start, don't have time to deal with it. Like, I'll deal with the aftermath. And so finally, I find this third room that seems perfect. It's got a bed, there's no children in it, so I sit down on the bed, I open the laptop, start the conference, say hi to everybody, the video's on, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see a live bunny walk across the room. And so, I'm just like, okay, just ignore the bunny, focus on the video. And then I see our 2 twins emerging out of some hide that they had with the bunny, right? Some big blanket. And now they're chasing this bunny. Chaos erupts in that room. They go after the bunny. The bunny jumps. The bunny jumps on the laptop. I'm trying to turn the video off on the laptop. And, finally I get the video off, but I didn't turn the sound off. So this sound, it sounds like just some incredible scuffle that's going on. I hear people from the meeting saying, "Are you okay? Do we need to call somebody?" Welcome to 2021, right? This is just one of those experiences that you get used to and you adapt to it. And, I think as we emerge from this and as we get to see each other in person again next year, we will appreciate it so much more. And so I'm so happy today to have with me a guest that is somebody I've always admired, just an incredibly, incredibly bright, but also nice human being. And his defining characteristic to me is he's always happy. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve Wozniak.
Hey, oh my gosh!
So great to see you, man. How's
Wow!
everything?
Wow, it's been great to see you again.
Have a seat, have
This is
a
a very special day for me, a very special occasion. This is probably the first time for a little, kind of a chat and a conversation to actually put on dress shoes.
Wow,
In about
man.
5 years, yeah.
Every time I talk to you, every time I see you, you're happy. You always find a way to be happy.
I'm
no matter
lucky.
what it
I'm
is.
lucky that I found a formula for that when I was very young, like 20 years old, when your personality is forming for life. And I just said, I want to do a lot of happy things. Jokes is the center of it. Makeup jokes, makeup pranks, but also,
boy.
but go to things you enjoy, like comedy and concerts and things that make you smile, but then subtract the frowns. Happiness equals smiles minus frowns.
Yeah, I gotta ask you. We picked a theme for this year's conference, right? And we didn't know at the time we would be in the midst of COVID and everybody would be locked down. But the theme was resilience. And I've just heard so many incredible stories from you of times when you've had to be so inventive, so resilient. And I was hoping you could share
Sure.
your favorite one of those.
Sure. One of them was we had our computer, the Apple II computer was going to be all the revenues of Apple for the first 10 years of the company. This was an important product.
No
But
pressure.
But
No pressure. Yeah.
I loved games. I build in my love into products. And the Apple II computer was the very first time that arcade games were in color. Atari and Los Gatos,
I didn't even
Atari right here in Los
realize that.
Gatos was starting the industry of arcade games. They were all black and white, and they had 100 chips and thousands of wires. An engineer like me starts hooking up wires to get plus and minus signals going the right way to make something show up on a TV set. The Apple II computer was the first time that arcade games were color, and the first time they were software. You could use
realize
the basic language I wrote. A 9-year-old kid could type a game in with colored things moving on a screen, and have a decent game in one day. And yet you took an engineer 6 months to a year to get a prototype done with 1,000 wires and all. No, this was a huge change for gaming, and that was important for the homes. I had never in my life worked with or studied discs of any type, hardware or software.
Okay,
That's a
okay.
starting point. I went to a staff meeting one day at Apple, and I'm quiet and shy. I stay in the background. I don't try to run the business, step on people's toes. I do my engineering because nobody could ever kick me out for that. And I listened, and we were going to be allowed into Las Vegas Consumer Electronics Show.
That's a big deal, man.
You grow up
CES,
as
it's
a
like-
technical guy, hooking up hi-fis and turntables and tape recorders and mixing it all, using it. You want to go to Las Vegas to see the new stuff at CES show. And then it was announced that we were only sending 3 marketing people. Mike Markkula, our funder, who ran marketing.
Okay.
Steve Jobs, of course. And I think Gene Carter, our sales guy, were going to go. And I'm too shy to say, hey, I'm a founder of the company. Let me go.
Yeah.
I
So
want to
you weren't
see-
in the list? You didn't make the first
No, I
cut?
wanted to see Las
Wow,
Vegas.
man,
I'd
that's-
never been there. I've heard about it in movies and TV shows. I wanted to go. And for some reason, I can't even explain to this day, I raised my hand and I said, if we have a floppy disk, can we show it?
Okay.
Well, Mike Markkula said yes. And I figured, in the back of my head is spinning, wait a minute, if we show off the floppy disk, they have to bring me. I'll be the only one who understands it. But how do I develop one? And since
this is such a great
I didn't know anything about chips and formats on floppy disks. So Steve Jobs got me a new Shugart smaller drive, 5-inch floppy drive. And I looked and studied their schematic, reverse engineered it. Wait a minute, they're taking all these signals in that have meaning, and they're boiling it down to putting out little pulses onto a floppy disk that go up and down in basically four microsecond intervals, 4 or 8. Wait a minute, I have a whole computer. I can make my own little board a lot simpler and just send over the signal that goes to write the floppy disk. And then reading it back was even tougher. And I came up with the most incredible designs for getting the data to the floppy disk with no chips. And coming back, I built a little microprocessor out of what's called a state machine. I had a state machine class at Berkeley. I had 3 years of college done. And 2 little $1 chips made a state machine that was perfect for this. And so now I could actually read and write data. Went to Las Vegas, worked all night long till 6:30 in the morning of the show, and I had it working where I could actually type, myself and a programmer, Randy Wigington, that was in high school in the Homebrew Computer Club. We could type run checkbook. We'd type R checkbook for now, and it would run it. It's really funny. But I go back now, I look at what I did then, and I said, how did anyone come up with that?
I can't tell you just what an inspiration you've been to so many people, me included, and just hearing the way that you find joy in
Yeah.
what you do
But look
is
at this.
incredible.
People come to me and they say, why should I go to the university, or I got this chance to be in a startup right now? You have
Yeah.
to know the person, the individual. Some of the university might be, but usually I wind up saying, oh, no, go with the startup, because not because you're doing something great, you're going to work really hard, it's going to have meaning, passion, you might change the world, but because it's going to be the most fun time in your life. You know, if you're pursuing something that's never been done before, you can have the most fun ever.
I love it. Oh, Waz, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for sharing that. I mean, it's such an inspirational tale that I think everybody can relate to. So it's great to see you.
Good.
And remember,
Good.
come by anytime.
How incredible. I think of the road you're on. I think one of the members of Motley Crue still lives here.
Oh, really? To be continued. From our family to yours, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next year. Bye.